Birth and death are two words with the same meaning. Frederick Myers, finding himself in another world, outlined the conditions of life after death. I can only tell you the truth about the other world as I see it myself. All my messages are an expression of my own knowledge of what happens to the soul when it comes to life in another world. I say revives because the soul seems to me dead when it lives in its earthly body. Therefore, for me, birth and death are two words that have the same meaning. Such thoughts were conveyed 100 years ago by Frederick Myers, who passed into another world. During his lifetime, Frederick Myers was a highly educated man. He taught ancient literature at Cambridge and wrote poetry. For the last 15 years of his life, Myers has been studying various phenomena: hypnotism, thought transmission, genius, visions of the dead. The result of these searches was the book The Human Personality and Its Survival After the Death of the Body. Myers continued his research, finding himself in another world, through an Irish woman, Geraldine Cummins, who possessed the skill of automatic writing. Automatic writing is the process and result of writing, which is presumably the product of the unconscious activity of the writer. In this case, the individual may be in a state of hypnotic, mediumistic or meditative trance, or be fully conscious and control everything except the movement of the writing hand. Automatic writing is used in some mystical practices, such as spiritualism, for the supposed possibility of communicating with spirits of the other world or spirits of the dead, who are considered to control automatic writing. It is also used by some psychotherapists in order to uncover and free themselves from alleged hidden experiences and motives that create conflicts in the psyche. Scientists question the mechanism of automatic writing, the formal scientific validity of the concept of the unconscious used in psychology and psychotherapy, as well as the therapeutic effectiveness of automatic writing. There is an opinion that automatic writing was used in writing some books on the occult. A person who uses such a letter connects to the energy information field of the earth. There are entities there who know the past, present, and future. An example is Joan of Arc, who was prompted by voices, or Mozart, who declared that someone from above dictates music to him. Automatic writing is information coming directly from the subconscious. Therefore, the technique will not give information that is not in the memory, consciousness, or subconscious of the writer. But in fairness, it should be noted here that cases are described when a person using automatic writing begins to write on topics completely unfamiliar to him. Frederick Myers outlined the structure and conditions of life after death using the method of automatic writing. He first contacted Geraldine Cummins 23 years after his death, in 1924. Messages from Myers have been coming for 5 years. The result of this collaboration was the book The Road to Immortality. What is this road like? For all of us who have crossed an invisible boundary, death becomes just an episode that we treat with a certain scientific attitude, not with pain. A person should also perceive death as an overnight stay in a hotel, as a rest stop on the long road home. It can be a night of feverish insomnia and fear, a night full of strange dreams, or a period of complete rest. Nevertheless, after this night, the soul wakes up for a new day. At dawn, such a soul is met by disembodied relatives who are woven into the fate of this soul. According to Myers, a disembodied being, until it reaches the highest heavenly levels, uses some form as a means of expressing itself. There are many such forms. However, it is enough for a person to know only about 4 of them. During our earthly life, we are accompanied by a double or unifying body, which you falsely call the astral. The invisible double of a person is an exact analogue of his physical form. These two are connected by many small threads and cords. One of them is in contact with the solar plexus, the other with the brain. When a person dies, these threads gradually break. Death occurs when 2 cords break. Then the soul rises and hovers over the physical double for a short time. In his messages, Myers noted that someday people will be able to photograph this moment. The soul can be fixed on the record as a small cloud, a pale essence. But for disembodied beings, the soul will seem completely different because their perception is much more finely tuned. Among other forms, Myers names the etheric body, the subtle body, and the celestial body. This is a form of light. The soul occupies the last 2 forms, ascending to the higher planes. These forms can be significantly changed in appearance by the volitional effort of the soul. In his messages, Frederick Myers talks about the levels through which the soul passes, as well as about how souls who died prematurely and those who decided to voluntarily pass away feel. The writer reported that the soul should go through 7 levels. The first level is the earthly incarnation. Myers calls the second sphere an intermediate state. The soul is resting here. Myers himself felt this level as a place of semi-darkness in which he was in a calm sleep. He called the third level the sphere of illusions. Life here is also somewhat like a dream. The world for the human soul in this sphere is similar to the one he knew on Earth. However, There are no earthly worries and earthly struggles here. To recharge the energy here, the etheric body uses light that is not the light of the sun. The fourth level is the color plane. It was at this level that Frederick Myers was when he sent his messages to the living. Passing into this sphere, souls shed their etheric body and take on a more subtle form. Here the soul realizes that it has entered a world of countless colors, lights and sounds. All the sensations of the soul on this plane are aggravated. The inhabitants of this level are completely freed from earthly power and partially lose the memory of their physical life. At the fourth level, the soul form begins to vibrate with extreme intensity. Therefore, here we can hear the thoughts of other souls. Those living on Earth have an opinion that the souls of our world can see the future of people. However, this is not the case. No soul can know the secrets of the future. Nevertheless, arriving in this plane, we can catch people's thoughts and anticipate their near future. The transition to each new level can be compared to death. This death is not like a human one. All processes freeze between each plan. It's like the soul stops here. And when she is born on a new plane, she discards from herself some of the attributes that she had on the previous level. After earthly life, not all souls strive to rise to the light. Having lived a selfish or immoral life, many of them here become eternal slaves of darkness. Such souls lose touch with everything except the feeling of a thinking existence. It seems to them that they are completely alone. In the land of illusions, it can only be night for them. Myers also talked about what happens to the souls of people who decide to die. Realizing their situation, they become desperate. Some of them try to do everything to attract the attention of the living, for example, to move, scatter or break objects. Such souls live with the emotions and thoughts with which they left their earthly life. They envelop them like a cloud. The fate of those who died suddenly is also difficult. Usually such souls do not realize what has happened. They often need the help of other souls who understand their position and the purpose of their existence. And the purpose of the soul's existence can be expressed in one phrase. It is the development of mind in matter, varying in degree and appearance, Frederick Myers reported.